Hot breakfast. Welcome to it. It's a Monday morning, just on. No, I lie, and it's a Wednesday morning. It's just on 8:15. I was at a very swanky event last night. The event is not the big news, although in my world, I was so excited to just be able to put on trousers and a shirt and tie my shoelaces and so on. Put on deodorant. A big thing in my life. I could go out last night. It was fantastic. But it's what happened at this event that, in my mind, was pretty rock star. In a moment, I'm going to catch up with, well, speaking of rock stars, one of the rock stars of athletics in our country, Elana Meyer. We're going to catch up with her in a moment. But if you join us on social media, Facebook and YouTube, you can relive just some of what it is that happened at this event last night. We'll have one or two of.
Do you think I should just say what it is? So because of all the hard work, because of the passion, it's not only hard work, it's passion, it's endurance, and boy, have we had to deal with a number of curveballs. We are here tonight to make an announcement. And the announcement is that from 2022, the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon will become an official candidate event for the Abbott World Marathon Majors.
And if you listen carefully, you heard whistling in the background. That was me. Somebody must now have to be there and bring the Mitchell's plane through in the gedachte. So there I was. I was sitting next to Carmony Pather, so maybe she was the one, the MasterChef winner from, I think, 2016 or so. I think that was her shouting. So we've got Ilana Meyer. She was there, part of. Well, I mean, she's an ambassador of the event. She is just the face of Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. Ilana, good morning. I mean, we still are on a massive high, recovering from that event last night, eh?
Absolutely. What a joyous occasion. It was, I remember a couple of years sitting, in your studio, challenging you to run the first Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, and look how far we have come. Super exciting news. Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, Canada City for the World Marathon Majors. It's been such an incredible journey. And I think now the hard work really begins.
And I mean, it's big news for us marathon runners. I'm sure there are people sitting saying, I mean, what's the big deal? And I was trying to make the point a bit earlier. I mean, this is almost like the tennis equivalent of a Wimbledon and an Australian Open. It's the equivalent in motor racing circles of like a Cape Town Grand Prix, or if you're a golfer, I mean, this is almost like the Masters or the US Open. I mean, this is big news.
Absolutely. There's only 6 cities in the world that we're talking about. We're talking about New York, Boston, Chicago, London, Berlin, and Tokyo, and Cape Town has been added, into that mix. So over the next 3 years, we will have a chance, to reach the criteria, to move from candidate into the full marathon major circles. And I think, that is really, really big news. What is fantastic, it will be the first for Africa. It will be the first south of the equator. Wonderful, wonderful news.
And the way it works, I mean, there are people who travel the globe who want to compete in the majors. I myself have tried entering for London and for Chicago and so on, but because this is like bucket list stuff. Suddenly Cape Town gets added to that list. We're likely in the next few years, once we attain, and I'm sure we will, come 2025, be considered then as a major, and we'll attain that status. People from around the world are going to queue up. They are going to go onto waiting lists and pay top dollar to come and run this event in Cape Town.
Absolutely. I think that's the beauty. London Marathon, all of them are hugely oversubscribed. Only 10% of the entrants, can actually run the race. And now Cape Town is being thrown into that mix, so now Cape Town is also an option, and I'm sure people, would love to run in the shadow of Table Mountain. Cape Town is an iconic city, and now, the marathon is thrown into the mix of other iconic marathons. So certainly it's going to be a huge boost for the marathon for Cape Town, for South Africa. It's a massive tourist. The marathon industry is a huge tourist industry, and looking forward not to only receive the top marathon runners in Cape Town, but also the running tourist, and looking for an absolutely amazing journey ahead.
Yeah, and so Francois Pienaar, former BOC captain and chairman of the Cape Town Marathon, he made that announcement last night, and I mean we all kind of knew a big announcement was coming, and we had fingers crossed that it would be that announcement. But in a very short space of time, Ilana, I mean your team and just a massive support team in the background have built this thing from dare I say it, a very unfancied running event on the running calendar. I mean it's not like people were queuing. It's not as if people had this as a must-run event. In the space of a few short years, it's gone from just a couple of hundred runners to well in excess of 10,000 runners. I mean, that's the one thing. It's gone from being just another event to a silver label event on the IAAF calendar, and now a gold label event, and in a few years soon to become a major on the IAAF calendar. I mean, it's an incredible turn of events in the past few years.
Absolutely. I think, there has been an incredible team behind Cape Town Marathon, since, a meeting that myself, Janet, and Francois had, back in 2013, said, but, this should be, one of the marathons in the world, a must-run marathon globally. Yeah. And I think, the passion, the hard work, the big dream, really drove the team to build it, from a tiny city, tiny event in Cape Town, to already, the only global recognized event on the African continent, and soon to be much more, but it really is the passion, I think, the hard work, that took the event, to where it is today. I think, like we now again in the starting blocks, to tick down a lot of new criteria. But I truly believe, South Africans, when they get behind something, we walk out winners. And I've got no doubt that, we will get the public, we will get the runners, we will get South Africa behind us to achieve that status.
And final thing, Ilana, what do we need to do now as well as a city? What do we need to do? People like us, but also you and your team who've managed to get Cape Town, the Cape Town Marathon, to be considered as a candidate as a major. What needs to happen between now and 2025 for us to be confirmed as a major?
So there's a long list of criteria, which some of them we already tick, but we need to grow in numbers. We need to have, at least 15,000 finishers, from an elite field perspective, which is obviously my, portfolio. We need to grow from gold level athletes to platinum level athletes. And that's really the rock stars in the industry. Those are the elite Kipchoge's, so it's a top 25 marathoners in the world. We need to sign up an elite field, of that caliber. We need to grow in terms of spectators along the route. So there are many points we need to tick off, but I've got no doubt that, with the passion of the team and South Africa and the rest of Africa getting behind us, that we will certainly achieve it.
All right. Okay. Well, I've got 3 years to become an elite athlete then, Ilana. So let's see what I can do. Ek gaan oefen my sê. Ek gaan my stukke hard open vir my maar maak. I'll be one of your top 25 elite athletes, all right?
Looking forward to see you at the finish line again.
All right, top class. Elana Meyer, she is one of the ambassadors and is just brimming with pride. And of course she needs to be, because our Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, and don't forget, I mean, we've had an incredible journey here at Heart FM with that event, is on the verge. I mean, there's some work to be done in the next few years, but on the verge of becoming one of the major marathon events on the world calendar. This is absolutely awesome, awesome news.